And maybe I can explain something about the challenge-based learning concept. And please feel free to join us when I'm with UNPAS, the 22nd until the 28th of April. So first, a little introduction of myself. I have a mixed background in business and academia. I was a sales manager and venture capital business development manager, a director in the small and medium-sized enterprises. Uh, since 2002, I am an entrepreneur. Um, and in academia, my specialization is innovation and entrepreneurship. So I did a PhD on innovation alliances, and I'm a specialist on international business incubation. My focus of the research is on 21st century skills because in my 20 years of my business career, I found out that people are very important in the success of a business. Basically, they are the most important ones. So please mute your mics all. And I have an association with several universities, and I was a professor international business at Avans University of Applied Science. So I'm for 7 years with PUM and working for the European Commission. Since 83, I'm in Indonesia. In fact, my master's thesis was on business opportunities in the ASEAN countries. So I think this is a very relevant topic nowadays. Apart from Indonesia, I went to South Africa and Ethiopia for advices on location, but also training of trainers, and that is a different subject compared to lecturing, and also how to monitor the process of startups. My research is global, and not only Europe, but also Asia, Africa, and Latin America and the Americas. So we had a lot of classes virtually. I'm into sustainable entrepreneurship. This is at Twente University, and I'm working with large companies as well, like Johnson and Johnson or Fujifilm. Um, PUM is active. Please mute your mic. I still have some background noises. Um, so we are active in several countries, mainly in Africa and Asia. And what makes us special is that we try to make it as practical as possible. Um,
Prof, Prof,
yeah,
uh, if you don't mind, can you open, can you share, can you give the theme for the
pardon? What do you like?
make make a co-host for our team? So
That
that's
is
why.
not possible. Well, that is not possible currently.
Ah, okay, okay.
I let me see. I can make you host.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I will make you host, but then I'm not sure whether I can show my screen.
Oh,
But anyway, I will make you host, Ida, and make sure that all the phones are muted, because
yeah.
otherwise we have
Okay, okay.
so change host, send requests. I've sent you a request to share my screen with you. You have to approve that.
Ah,
But do you know how that works?
maybe you can share to WhatsApp or.
No. Uh, now
Yeah,
I'm
it works. Yes. It
Yeah.
works, Prof. We can see
Okay.
your screen
Okay.
share.
Good.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh, well, now I will start with what is special about innovation and entrepreneurship. There are a lot of similarities between the two, and there are also some things which are different. So basically, entrepreneurship is about two items. It is to identify an opportunity, a market or opportunity. So an entrepreneur sees something which is special, which others don't see, and they said, "Well, this is a nice gap, a nice market for me. So I see an opportunity." The second thing is, if you see an opportunity, that's not enough. You have to capture the value. That means you have to implement it as well. So what we say in venture capital is execution is everything. You can have a nice idea, but that's not sufficient. You need to have a good implementation force. And what is most important is a good team to make it happen. So when I was working for venture capital, sometimes I saw a very nice plans. I said, "Oh, this is perfect." But if we did not trust the entrepreneur and his team, then we did not invest. And so people and implementation is very important. So what is special about innovation? That is basically you have two forces, ideation or discovery and execution. So if you have a nice idea or a nice prototype, that is not an innovation. You should be able to execute it as well. So what we say, you have to cycle on both wheels. And that is the balance between, on the one hand, the cycle of innovation, and on the other hand, the cycle of operations and delivery or exploitation. So, and basically, and the competences for both wheels are different. And for innovation, for creativity, you need associating, questioning, observing, experimenting, etc. And that is very imaginary. So you need a lot of creativity and you need a diverse team. But if you want to make it an operational success, then you should be more detail oriented and self disciplined. So these are aspects which should be executed or trained in a curriculum. So there should be a nice balance between the innovation and the operational cycle. So if you have awareness that entrepreneurship is important, that is not enough. You need to have the right motivation or attitude to have ownership on a problem. That means that you feel obliged to improve something. So if you really feel you have ownership, then you say, well, this is now I'm working on it as an entrepreneur. But that's not enough either. You need to have individual action and also collaborate. You have to collaborate within teams of other disciplines. So that means if you want to become a successful entrepreneur, you need to have a combination of team competences, individual and entrepreneurial traits, and also the right motivation and attitude. A mix of all those factors. So, what is your role as a teacher? Well, I like the saying of Confucius. You can say, I hear and I forget. And normally, students are listening to you. You can demonstrate something. So you can say, I see and I remember. But the most important thing is, I do and I understand. So that means practicing specific uh, skills. And for that, that is a new role for teachers to enable students to experiment. And now there are several differences between teachers, trainers, mentors, or consultants and coaches. And all those roles are important to master and to be able to conduct those roles. So traditionally, a teacher is transferring explicit knowledge, knowledge which can be written down in books, knowledge oriented. But as I told before, you also need to train specific skills. Skills are, apart from knowledge, also very important. And that means also the students should have better self-understanding. What are your strengths? What are your weaknesses? When I'm around, I can discuss and I can show you some of those training possibilities. Well, you can also serve as a mentor, a startup mentor, or a coach. And a coach is not is not telling, but are more asking the right questions. It's very difficult to combine all those roles, but all those roles are very important for entrepreneurship education. So basically, it is a combination of filling the basket of knowledge, but also lighting the fire. So making the students enthusiastic about business and entrepreneurship and innovation. So how to motivate them, how to make them enthusiastic about entrepreneurship. That is the main question. So then we talk about sustainable entrepreneurship. And what is sustainable? Well, we have programs in which we ask the students to develop a radical, so that means not incremental, but very new sustainable business models, together with high-tech industry in a global setting, very international and very multidisciplinary. So that is a learning-based, a challenge-based learning program. So what is important is that the students are able to cross the bridge between, on the one hand, the science and technology. It can also be arts or social sciences, but crossing the bridge to the business. So if you have knowledge or competencies on both shores, then you are very useful for a business, either having the business yourself or being employed by a larger business. So crossing the business of crossing the bridge is very important. Yeah, sustainable entrepreneurship, then sustainability comes into place. It is identifying the market needs of the present without compromising the future needs. So maybe that is rather theoretical, this definition, but I'm happy to explain it more in detail to make it more realistic. I don't know, is anyone of you speaking Chinese maybe? But the Chinese sign of crisis, currently we have a crisis, a sustainability crisis, or a crisis with global business due to the USA. And a crisis in Chinese, that sign consists of two signs. The first sign is danger, and the second sign is opportunity. So a real entrepreneur is converting the danger into an opportunity. How to make that, how to convert this, how to make use of the current situation. And sustainable entrepreneurship is indeed making a business, but also taking into consideration the social aspects and the ecologic aspects. So they are integral part of the business. And that is because in the future, you can expect that negative side effects or externalities will not be accepted anymore. They will not be accepted by the governments. They will not be accepted by clients. So if you want to have a future-proof business, then you should be able to communicate what is your social and your ecological advantage. Why should you be in the market, and then what is your added value on those three aspects? Not only the economic, but also the social and the ecologic. So, and nowadays the economies are what we call VUCA. That means volatile, so very changing quickly. Every day a new policy. It's also very uncertain. We do not know what will happen in the future. It's complex because many things are influencing the business, and it's ambiguous. You don't know what will happen. So you have to be very agile as a business. So in the 60s, it was only necessary to be efficient to to have a good business. In the 70s, the customers expected quality as well on top of the price. In the 80s, they said, no, no, we want to have flexibility. We need a large variety of products. And then in the 90s, you said, no, it should be really new because everything which is not new is not interesting to us. And nowadays, the question is for many companies, how responsible are you for the society? And so is that both for the world as for the social aspects? And because of all those trends, all those needs, businesses are very knowledge intensive these days. You have to have a very broad array of knowledge which is necessary to become successful. And as you can see, that is quite difficult. And that is impossible to do that on your own. You have to form a partnership with someone with adjacent, with new competencies, with competencies you don't have yourself. So therefore, you have to partner, otherwise you will perish and you will cease to exist. So that brings me to innovation. In the past, innovators put a large fence around their R&D. So universities might also put a large fence around the university, and they say, well, innovators, people from outside, stay away. We have all the brilliance we need. Well, that is a very costly approach, and this basically was the topic of my PhD 15 years ago. So you have to change from closed to open innovation. So this is a funnel. You start from the left side, that is called the fuzzy front end of innovation. You have a lot of ideas, and the more time you take, you select the best ideas, you put more effort in an idea, and then you continue with the most promising ones. So the circles symbolize the amount of energy, of effort you have put in it. So normally you start with a fuzzy front end, with an idea, with R&D, and you end with a successful market introduction. So that's called R&D, research and development and commercialization. Nowadays, it is changing from closed to open innovation. So instead of the lab is our world, that's the adage of closed innovation, you have to have another attitude, and that is the world is our lab. What can we learn? How can we collaborate with others? And that is easy to say and difficult to do. That is a completely a new competency, which is has advantages and disadvantages. It has complexities, but also huge advantages. So you can have ideas and technology from outside, so people from outside the funnel. But you also, yeah, you have, that's why these borders are dotted lines. You can see that you have a lot of collaboration in all phases of innovation with outside partners. So instead of research and development, it becomes connect and develop. So it's outside in or inside out. It's a combination of both. And that is something we could discuss when I'm around, how to organize that in a successful way. I don't have time to discuss all the details about this because I hope that I can motivate you to become interested in the subject, and then we can discuss it later when I'm in Bandung. So that's called co-innovation, collaborative innovation. So a partner has a lot of advantages. You can have complementary technology. You can have access to new markets, so that and they might have new knowledge for you. And it can also be more efficient to collaborate, and because you need to have a larger scale to be successful. Once again, if you are interested, let's discuss this, how to implement this in your curriculum. So in total, you need a balance between several competencies. You should have the students or the teaching staff should have the proper attitude. That means the willingness and to interact and collaborate with others. It's also perseverance and resilience. These are things which can be discussed in class. So how much willingness do you have? And you can see that also with startups, whether they have the necessary perseverance and the perseverance and resilience, the ability to recover from failure and to learn from failure. So you need this A, B, and C, attitude, behavioral skills. So these are entrepreneurial skills. So these are new aspects for your curriculum. And these what we call 21st century skills. And those are some higher order skills which are very important for future business. And of course, and let's not forget knowledge, cognition. So these three items are important, but also the ability to learn and to adapt quickly. That's agility. So that means flexibility and speed. So if you are flexible, more flexible, more agile than others, then you will survive as a business, as a starting business. So that means that in the modern curricula of innovation and entrepreneurship, the aspects of all those four competences are included. And I'm happy to discuss that more in detail with you. Because that is, it needs some training as well. So it's a combination of coaching, training, and teaching. Okay. For entrepreneurs, it is important to have imagination. And even Albert Einstein said imagination is more important than knowledge. And also, you cannot solve your problems with the same type of thinking we used when we created this. So that means out of the box thinking and creativity. Creativity is a very important competence which should be trained and developed. So let me summarize four 21st century skills: collaboration, creativity, communication, and critical thinking. So we have programs about those 21st century skills, which we could test also at UNPAS to see whether this works in your context as well. And I've written some playbooks, very practical playbooks about those games, So in order to, and these are accessible for you. So if you are interested, and then please have a look, and then maybe we can discuss and we can convert it into the Indonesian or the Unpas way. And there are several examples about those 21st century skills. So what I would like to learn you also is what challenge-based learning is. And that's experimental learning in which the students are trained to solve real-world problems, the FUCA problems, problems of businesses, local businesses, real businesses. And so they learn to interact with businesses. They learn to delineate the problems. So where does it start? Where does it end? And what is the real problem? And they have to work with other disciplines. And also maybe cross-border. So these are in difficult aspects, but very useful aspects if you can train your students to have these type of competences, then they are very well prepared for the future. So yeah, Professor Ida and Agung, Pa Agung have participated in one of those programs, and some Indonesian students were also very successful. They worked with students from Iran and from Japan and from Germany and so on. So that was a very nice experience for the students. So basically, the student, it's very close to the level of the interest of the students. So these are called serious games. So and therefore they are more motivated to work within it. At least certain students are very motivated in it. That's what we can see. So I'm happy to discuss the elements of challenge-based learning with you. It's too much to discuss now in detail, but it has, believe me, specific advantages. So you develop entrepreneurial mindset. You work on 21st century skills and on the combination of attitudinal, behavioral, and cognitive competences. So basically, that is what I would like to say. And then, can you hear this sound?
We live in a wonderful time.
Ida, can you hear the sound?
I can.
Okay, good.
Yes.
All good,
That's
Prof.
something you don't often hear on the news or read in the paper. That's why I'm going to say it one more time. We live in a wonderful time. The freedom we enjoy, the knowledge we've gained, the things we can do, how we're all connected to each other. Every one of us can have our say and be heard. The world has grown smaller. Yet when it comes to the economy, we're waiting for something big, a decision from the top, intervention, a green light. But it doesn't come. The power is no longer in the hands of the big. The strength is in the hands of the small. Although you may not realize it, what you do every day does make a difference. You decide what you do with your money or what you don't. Every act, however small, sets something big in motion. Because small acts create big change. A change to a different economy, one that's fairer, more humane, greener, more innovative. Take a good look around you because it's already here, and here, and here. Now it's up to you. The power is in your hands because together we will make small the new big. Follow your heart. Use your head.
So let's partner. That is the adage. maybe I can take some questions. Who likes to ask me something?
Yep, Prof. Thank you very much, Prof. I think there are many things we can learn from what words convey and will be discussed in more depth during the visit to UNPAS. But maybe today I would like to open um, to lectures or Feistin or anyone to discuss about it because we have the limited time, Prof. Yeah,
Yeah.
only we have maybe around 10 or 15 minutes later. We have so that's why I open to the lecture uh, who wants to talk their experience about the entrepreneur curriculum or innovation or teaching method while they teaching in the for the students. So Bapak Ibu sekalian, barangkali ada yang mau kita diskusikan, silakan. Dan Prof. Franz, I need to inform you and also to all of you all that why this program is very important because it become from the anxiety, our anxiety when the number of startup in our university is quite low, Prof. Is quite low and small compared to the other universities. And the second one, the interesting doing business, yes. Is it good? Is quite high, but it is not balanced with the implementation because the numbers of business when the belonging of the student is still low also. And the another things, the level of the innovation is still low. This is this was evidence by the result of our research, Prof. When we find out about the innovation still weak. And we found out also that the curriculum that has not been integrated, especially with the ecosystem entrepreneur. So that's why I think when you say that what kind of the curriculum it must be, I think it is very important for us. So based on this phenomenon, we see that we need learn a lot from you, uh, especially for how and what curriculum should be and what kind of teaching method are fun for the students, and then also learn. I think it is very important when I was experienced by the international global competition. Yeah, talking about the cross culture, Prof. Because some of our student is still shy to talk to talk and then to share about their self or what kind of the experience. So that it can, I think, motivation is very important for the student. So I want to open to all of you alls who want to discuss and share about your experience. Baik, Bapak Ibu, ada yang mau kita diskusikan? Silakan.
Ibu Ida, please, can I
Ya.
give opportunity?
Oh, okay, please.
Okay. Good afternoon, Prof. Let me introduce myself. My name is Iqbal. I am from Faculty of Economy and Business, Pasundan University, and also I'm a lecturer in the field of entrepreneurship. First of all, I'm very happy and excited to be part of this class. And also, I hope after I join this class, I can give good advice, especially for my student, Ibu Ida and Prof. And also, I can teach the student about the new knowledge and advice, especially about the entrepreneurship. So I make a note, Prof, about the how you explained before about the entrepreneur's success. We have four competence, yes, Prof, about the to be entrepreneur success, we should to have attitude and also behavior skill and connection. Yes, Prof. I agree with that because based on the definition about entrepreneurship is about to how the student must should be have a skill, especially to prove the problem because in and also the student must be have a good attitude, especially to solve the problem. But today, especially Gen Z in Indonesia, Prof, we have a lot of the problem based on our research. The Gen Z in Indonesia have, I think, attitude is very hard to adapt it, and also is very weak interpersonal communication skill, and also many problem, and also cannot give the problem big problem, cannot solve the problem. This is the Gen Z problem, Prof. So because of that, I make note about the what your explanation before about the entrepreneurial success balance of four competence that I'm not already give advice in the class to the student. So I think this is very important about attitude, and also I hope after I'm join this class, I can make more knowledge about, especially about the entrepreneurial success, balance for competence such as attitude, behavioral skill, and cognition, because it's very important for the student, especially against it today. Maybe I think this is enough for make
Yeah,
statement. Thank you, Iqbal,
Iqbal,
Prof.
thank you very much
No
for
problem.
your remarks. I fully agree with you. I have I taught in many countries, from India to Nepal to Japan, etc., etc. So in many cases, there are similarities in Gen G students, and that means that some things they all like. So what is important is that we um, make the connection with the students so that they feel responsible for their own learning. So if you make the teaching more attractive to them, then it's more fun to learn. And also, we should take them seriously. So we should have more discussions with students. So what would you like? How could we change our formula, our teaching formula, in such a way that we, of course, you have to learn something. So you have to meet all the criteria for accreditation of the university. But the way of teaching, the method of teaching can be made more attractive. And I've seen, for instance, in Japan, students who were falling asleep, but also students who were very active and very having a lot of fun in the classroom. So we have to discuss what makes them more interested in what they are learning. And but it's too much to discuss in this class, in this workshop. So we should take more time to develop formulas and to test also the formulas. It's also practice what you preach. So if I'm saying, well, entrepreneurship is also learning by doing, then we should take the lesson seriously. We should learn ourselves as well. So we should experiment what works well, what works less good, and how can we make it more interesting for them. And yes, challenge-based learning is not for all students a very good idea. So that might but then you need to discuss it as a coach. So how come you are not interested in this? And what do you want? If people, let's put it this way, it doesn't make sense. It's not possible to develop behavioral skills when the people are not motivated. So either they are motivated or yeah, it's not possible to develop those skills. So it starts with how to make them more yeah, interested in the class.
Kindly not. Thank you, Prof.
And it's difficult to do.
Can I
So,
add the
I do
question?
not have the wisdom in my pocket. So we have to work together and we have to, like Edison, and we have to find many ways that are not working, but maybe one formula is working well.
Yep.
So there are many ideas which I'm happy to discuss with you, and they are coming from other countries. But we should see, is it possible with your students or not?
Mhm. Yep. Okay, Prof. Thank you. Pak Iqbal, I think it's enough because we have time is very limited, and I would like to open to the other lectures,
Can
maybe Pak
can I
Asep,
add the
Roni.
question? Yes. The
Okay.
relation with the question before. And what do you think about teaching entrepreneurship to students during times of economic uncertainty and global trade tension? Kemudian and the problem, and I think the what trade war between United States and other country reflect the complexity of global economic. And while it then I'm protecting domestic industries, it often lead to higher price, market instability, and strain international relationship. And my question is, how can teach entrepreneurship the university in with that condition? Can you give me any information about that uncertainly economic and yes? Can you give me any information about that?
That's a difficult question. So it
Yeah.
is so. I think there is a lot of interest from the Gen Z, and that is what I really can say from many, many countries in solving sustainable items. And so climate change or pollution. So people are really willing, young people are really anxious. So they are afraid of how can we improve that kind of thing. So we should focus on those who are willing to collaborate. So you have within ASEAN, the 10 countries of ASEAN, many, many people who are willing to collaborate with you and who are adjacent. And also in Europe, there's a strong will to collaborate with you. So, for instance, when I was in Japan, there were teams from Japan and Malaysia. And the Japan students were the engineers, and the Malay students, they were the salesmen. They were doing the pitch. So and that was a very natural way of working together. So everybody can have a part in the solution. But for instance, also we had in the global competition with Ida and Pa Agung, we had very good students from Germany, but they were saying, "Oh, yeah, those Indonesians, they're difficult to work with them." So that is also what they have to learn. That well, maybe they should have a different approach, and and break the ice to make the Indonesian less shy. Yeah, so and that is well something which is yeah we learned ourselves to spend more time in the preparation of those challenges. So having some conversations with the students and so those cross-cultural competences, you have to they have to develop themselves. But once again, it's easy to say and difficult to do, and it's hard way. But there is no other solution. We only can solve the big issues of today together. If we are fighting to each other, then it is disastrous. And so we are losing the entire size of the economy of Germany and France if we are fighting against each other. People have calculated what the financial risks are if we are having all import duties and fighting each other and so on. So that is a very bad reaction. We should see how can we increase the collaboration instead of fighting to each other. And if they don't want to work with us, okay, then we go to others who are willing. So let's show them that it's still possible. And I strongly believe most people want to collaborate.
Yes.
So it's a very short
Can
term.
I can I add my idea? And so the teaching of entrepreneurship is not only discussing textbooks theory. It's important to
Exactly.
incorporate real world case study, invite guest speakers who have navigate through the market, and encourage students to think critically about risks and opportunities. Can you agree with my my opinion?
Yeah, I fully agree with you, Asep. But I also learned that with idealism, sometimes that doesn't work enough. So last year we had a collaboration also we included Indonesian of Israeli students in, and we let them to collaborate with Indonesian students. Well, they said no, we do not want to have anything to do with them, and we try to have this academic discussion, but I also learned that sometimes it's too difficult. So, and then it's better to say, okay, let's take another route. So and later we excluded the Israeli students or and universities because it was not able to work with them. But the world is larger than, than only one or two countries. So if the USA is having all kind of problems, well, let's see how we can act as entrepreneurs, whether we can find alternative routes. So that offers a lot of opportunities in the global south or in yeah, everybody who likes to work with us. So let's focus on the positive things.
Oke. Oke, Prof. Em, Bapak Ibu, ini pasti sangat menarik ya. Nanti kita akan coba karena memang nanti Prof. Franz, you will visit during at 22 May until 28. So that's why maybe uh,
April.
22
April.
April. April.
April. Sorry, April. So that's why we can. I think. I believe that you are have the many question in your mind, but don't push for today because we have enough time to discuss later with the Professor Franz in
Maybe
Bandung, Prof.
yeah,
Yeah.
maybe I can conclude with to what Asep one Chinese saying:
Uh-huh.
if you want to make progress, make many small steps.
Hmm.
And so let's just take some small steps, see what is doable, and celebrate our successes also with the students. Don't be too overly ambitious
Hmm.
because you really want to see them motivated and they should feel confident in learning new yeah, things out of their comfort zone. Yeah. Make small steps, many small steps.
I do really agree. Okay, anyway, thank you, Prof. So, ladies and gentlemen, we have only 5 minutes before we are closing. So, maybe Pak Agung, do you want add some?
Yeah,
Please.
actually, I would like to share in 3 minutes, Bu. Hopefully,
Okay.
share my screen
Good.
and okay, okay. I'd like to share my screen. Okay, so is it? You can see my screen,
Mhm.
Ibu. Okay,
Yes.
so
Good.
actually, Bapak Ibu, everyone's actually what is the most challenging for university is opening the door to work with other university. That's what I heard from Ibu Ida. That Unpas also looking forwards to work side by side with other universities. So this picture, it is about 7 years ago, when I think the other university equal to your university has no access to see to learn directly what is incubator business. So it was Ibu Ida in 2018, together with Ibu Ade from Telkom University. We invite them to visit if you can see my screen with that, to visit these all universities incubators actually. So there are numbers of incubators that's, to my opinion, that only state university that can be enter this kind of organizations, Leiden's, Ultra University, and other Wageningen University. So why I show you this picture? Well, actually, UNPAS since beginning prepare itself to be more advanced on this kind of issue, incubators, startup, entrepreneurships. But again, just to reflect to Pak Asep's, I think you have so much view of delivering entrepreneurships for UNPAS, but you have to select one of two topics that UNPAS will be the best of the best compared to the others. I think it is not easy to compare on technology because ITB, they are in front of us. Maybe it is not easy to be focused on agriculture. Then you will see IPB, there's also advanced. But I think if you see a very specific and uniqueness of UNPAS, you can be very specific that every knowledge of entrepreneur that you teach to your students, you deliver to your students, will be focused on specific issue. Something like, okay, UNPAS, we will focus on sociopreneur because we are based on community aspect or community-based university. So the most important thing what we can learn when Pak Franz still joining with us next 2 weeks is not only how to make that curriculum, not only how to create TOT teaching methods, but I think to finding out what is the best issue that UNPAS will be the best of the best compared to the other university. And to my opinion, I was also a student of UNPAS actually in Magister. I think there are only a few universities in Indonesia they are concerning about sociopreneur. I think it is also something that we have to deep in um, and to collaborate, to negotiate, because then if we are looking forward to work side by side with universities from other countries, and then you start with very specific items that UNPAS, we are very strong on sociopreneurs. We are very strong on greenpreneurs. So you have your step next, actually, compared to the others. So this is something that's also reflect to Pak Asef. Everyone, when they say now in the danger situations, we are in the uncertain situations. I think every entrepreneur they start on uncertain situations because if we start with uncertain situations, only the best of the best candidates of entrepreneur, what we call startup, they can step ups compared to the others. So Bu Ida, I would like to closing with that's the reason why PUM exists since 45 years ago. We only work with, let's say, 1,200 entrepreneurs yearly worldwide. And these numbers is not big numbers, it's a few numbers only. And in Indonesia, we only work with 150 entrepreneurs and only, I think, 5 universities. And one of the universities is Pasundans. So we do not work, we don't work, we do not, we would like to see motivate universities. We would like to see visionary universities. We would like to see universities that they see we have a future, but somehow we need to validating our steps actually. And I'm quite sure UNPAS in the right way to do so. So again, looking forward to meet Professor Franz Steele next 2 weeks, and also other colleagues from Pasundan University. Again, very happy to be a part of this family, Bu Ida and friends, actually. Thank you. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Back to you, Bu Ida. Thank you.
Yes, thank you very much, Pak Agung. Because of you, I can see the word, especially for to see the Europe atmosphere, and then also the connecting for the some entrepreneur in there. And also, ladies and gentlemen, because now we have stopped this conversation, but hopefully what we get today, especially we will be material for offline activities later, and I'm sure this will be very useful for all of us, and especially those who want change and also strengthening according to the title of the Tudor coaching. And thank you very much, Professor Franz, and also Pak Agung, and all of you. And perhaps it is, I'm sure God made us to make it better. So thank you very much, and and hand over to Butresia. Butresia, it is yours. Okay, thank
Okay, thank you so much, Ibu Ida Hindarsa, as a great moderator. That's very interesting entrepreneurship educations, and one interesting insight from Prof. Franz. I remember, I do, and I understand. That means we have do our action soon and right now. And then, ladies and gentlemen, before we close our agenda, we will capture this moment together. And please, everyone, open the camera, and we hope you use virtual background. And our partner, Bapak Muhammad Iqbal, ready for capture this moment?
Okay,
Okay,
ready.
I will. Okay, please get these participants.
Okay, here we go. 1, 2, 3. One more time. 1, 2, 3.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you. Thank you, Pak.
Okay, thank you
Okay,
so much, and
I hope to see
thank
you
you so
all
much.
soon.
Okay, we hope to see you, Prof. Franz, in Bandung, in Indonesia soon, inshallah. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we have reached the end of our program. We know about a knowledge on strengthening innovation, entrepreneurship, curriculum, and teaching method. Thank you so much for our excellent speaker, Professor Franz Still and Bapak Agung. And I would like say thank you so much for all the audience. Thank you for attention and presence. Let's close this agenda with hamdalah. Alhamdulillahirabbil alamin. As the master of ceremony, uh, I will say thank you. Wabillahi taufik wal hidayah. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you,
Waalaikumsalam
everyone.
warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.